Hello guys, this is part 3 of Iceberg of spooky Roblox horror games. Let's continue deepening into the dark side of Roblox games. Mr. Regis's place. First thing to already know is that the account's description. Some people say the journey is more important than the destination. I don't know about that. In Greek mythology, Aegeus was the founder of a city. The game has only two locations, the hallway and a structure, which can be described as some sort of statue. Mr. Aegeus once wanted to be judge in his life, but instead, the thing or the statue judges him and decides his fate. Attainment failure. Attainment failure is another mystical game which shows how little Nathaniel is losing his sanity throughout the game. During the gameplay, we can see a labyrinth and a few destroyed structures, corpses. I'll explain more about the game later. The Book of Journey. The Book of Journey is a game made by the same person, Little Nathaniel, who made the attainment failure. Little Nathaniel will ask the player to say his name through a Roblox hint. If a player responds 132,431,132, the gate will open and the player would be teleported into the place called Little Nathaniel's place number 27. Nathaniel's End. Not to confuse, the game isn't published on Little Nathaniel's account. Instead, it's published on an account called Nathaniel's End, which is possibly his alternative account. The game has a few maps. In the first map, you have to touch each hidden trigger, and the last one being a room with 4 doors, and the choice is randomized. That means you have to guess which door teleports you. After that, you get teleported to the next map, Lost. Lost itself has a big labyrinth with moving statues, which can kill you if you get above the labyrinth. The game starts glitching, day turns into night, and you glitching out. The map also changes whenever you join. That thing that walks with her. That thing that walks with her is a place is simply a hub for Little Nathaniel's and his other accounts games, such as Garden, Attainment Failure, and more. Surrealism. Surrealism has two versions, modern version and an old original version. The reason why is this important is that these two versions are different. Starting off with an old version. Old version includes a single tree with a crouching statue. You can find a paper with a text. Move opposing the statue's ways. They only want the statue. Find sanity in your path. Don't stop. Move. Find sanity. After some time, the screen turns black, with a text, "You do not belong here." After a few seconds we get the next text. Are you alive or dead? Look up, you have been warned." Then we can see an octahedron-shaped object in the sky. Anyways, there's a red platform I've spotted during the gameplay. If you touch it, you'll get teleported at the same level as the object I've mentioned earlier, but not for long. That's it for the original version. The modern version of the game works different. There's a button on the tree which will display a completely different text. Sun and Earth and stars as they seem. There's also a new big structure with a moon in the middle. The game itself is full of puzzles. Chronos. Chronos does look like an ordinary map from 2008 made by Minish, but it is more than just a map. The reason this map is on the list is that it's full of mysteries with no answers. A door on one of the holes in the cave, a giant secret room with odd lighting, and the weirdest being the room with a coffin. Yet, there's no confirmation if this map does have a horrifying truth, but it's still weird. Davendrag. Davendrag is a place featuring a small town called Davendrag. There are people with distorted faces. In earlier versions of the game, there was a store of boy named Carol. I will read it so you will know what is the store of this game. This is the store about a boy named Carol. Carol was born a healthy and happy baby. Carol's parents could not have been happier. The day of his birth, Carol was given some pajamas. The pajamas have cute bunnies and clowns. Carol was bullied for his ridiculous girl name. Carol the cute pie girl, the kids chanted Dale. Carol began to fall into a deep depression. Carol knew he could rely on his parents to cheer him up. So Carol went to meet his dad after school. But his dad was having a bad day. "Oh, I'm feeling just rotten," yelled Carol's father. "What's wrong?" asked Carol. His dad did not respond, but instead he looked him in the eye. Carol's dad was angry. He called in his wife. His wife came in, happy as ever. Carol's dad then looked at his wife with an evil glance. Carol started to back up, as his father started to raise his voice. "I'm tired of listening to Carol's complaints. I'm tired of playing that silly video game with Carol. I'm tired of living with you freaks." His dad then threw heavy objects around the house. One of the objects landed on the dog, crushing it like a small bug. His father then hurt them bad. After he was done, he left and never came back. Carol then turned to the one thing his father left behind. It was a video game. It was about a hero of time. He wished he could be as happy as the man who sold the game. He knew he could smile. The next day when Cute Pie went to class, he took with him the hand of Hero. One by one the kids dropped as Carol taught them their lesson once and for all the good time. The next day Carol woke up, ready for school. But nobody's at school. Carol is all alone. But he is not worried. He just plays his video game. Why does he just play his video game? The answer is simple. Carol is a hero. The boy Carol mentioned here is another account named CAR0I, Cord Woods. Cord Woods is a game created by Grail. Once you click play, you appear outside of a house with a flashlight. The house can be examined from inside, yet on the second floor, 2 doors are locked, and only one leads to Grail's room, where he's sleeping. Grail is a popular myth, known for being a father of Cranius and Lotharinir and the brother of Manitobe, and also a creator of Cord Woods. But after Manitobe murdered Grail's son, Grail had a strong hatred towards Manitobe. It's confirmed that Grail murdered his own wife in an argument, but he also murdered his daughter for unknown reason. There's a rumor that Grail killed Manitobe after bringing him to the physical world. Biohorim. Biohorim is a game including small town far away from the districts. This is the place where Isador was born, and is one of the towns that was devastated by the Guardian invasion. At the start of the game, Isador moves away from their parents to meet their loved one, KVI. Yet right before leaving the KVI's town, the Guardians start awakening. The game has endings. A good and a bad ending both end up being tragic, since everyone dies in both endings. Meat Circus. Meat Circus is the place in which L40T stores her heart, which had grown outside of her body. It can be found above the pit, which was originally a sewage drainage pool. The flesh that encases Meat Circus originates from when L40T placed her heart in the pool, and it began to grow. One of her friends is trapped inside of a circus, and provides the flesh blood. The gameplay is all about following the store, whilst finding teleporters around the map. Save Me. Save Me is another old myth-related game made by Ubu. It includes a bunch of NPCs having identical to each other appearance, but they're labeled as he hurt, she hurt. And there's a morph, which acts like a teleporter. Ubu is known for messaging users to save her, and if someone went to play her game, their character would turn black, and Ubu would steal all of their items, and make herself look like them. Okay, I know that Pure Evil and Ink Literal don't have any information, but the only information I have is that the creator of both of these games is Dr. Ald. He is known with his relation to the Saint Abid tribe. Never Look Again. Never Look Again is a myth game with a brass baseplate, including some scarecrows, a house, a crop farm, and a group of people worshipping a pole. Never Look Again also messages random people to look at his crop farm, but now he's no longer doing so. There have been rumors that the group of people I've mentioned is a cult that turns people into scarecrows. Library of Nirvana is a game full of cryptid messages and uncanny atmosphere. There was a hidden chamber, which included players, which she conquered by IP grabbing. Gopherbed was a popular myth, who gained popularity being dangerous due to IP tracking. The Old Shack's Place. The Old Shack's Place features a huge white neon room with black furniture and a baby crib. Throughout the game we can hear a repeated crying. There's a window in which we can see a person with a white head and black body. After a few minutes, he starts to slowly break in. After breaking in, the screen turns complete black and nothing happens. There's also a message outside saying, "It is starting again, you forgot us." There's a popular theory that the Old Shack has a strong obsession with babies. The Vanishing. The Vanishing starts with player being completely colored white. Above the player we can see another player, repeating the movements after the player. After a few minutes, we can hear a bell ringing. A few seconds later the map gets reflected, and then a secret room gets opened revealing 5 laying bodies, possibly resembling 5 missing identities. The reflection of a map in the Vanishing represents reflection of a reality. One Day Things Change. One Day Things Change features some sort of deserted area with ruined shack, leafless trees, rocks, and a hallway inside a map with a distorted low-pitched crying and screaming, but there's an entire story based off this. I'll read it now. He woke up alone after the change. Every day lasted a few seconds as time continued to go faster than he had remembered it to go. Day and night, he could never sleep. The changing of the sky kept him awake. His home fell apart and he stumbled through the darkness, aging at an incredible rate before screaming in the dark hallways of his mind. He died again and again, and his brains covered the ground around him. His own bodies, each one he buried them, but he still died. Let the torment end, and when it does I will be at peace. I have a theory that the entire story is based on One Day Things Change suffering from mental illness whilst losing the track of time. A Roblox horror game! A Roblox horror game combines every type of horror game into one. Starting with playing a bad horror game, and once the game finishes, we get teleported to the same game, but now it's completely different. Vault 7. Vault 7 features a huge laboratory at an unknown location with underground. The game takes place in and stretches deep underground in an unknown location. Within the facility, different laboratories and specimens are contained, with the intent of researching anomalies within the universe. Xenarden. Xenarden is a game where you spawn on an island with a cross in front of you. If you go in front of it and fall out the map, you'll get teleported to Xenarden. The game's description is, "Welcome to Xenarden. Long ago, the bridges that connect our land were destroyed. We're lost without them. We need them back. Welcome to Xenarden." There are 3 myths which have connection with this game: Rendornal, Bendornal, and the father, Xendornal. Supposed Rendornal hates Xenarden. In the updated version of Xenarden, there's a note which says, "Ren tried to get rid of us, we have to do something about it. Ren has now been sent far away." There's a theory that Ren killed Xendornal and Bendornal as a ghost. Exploration. Exploration doesn't have any information, but the game is available to play. Memories. Memories is a very, very big game made by Bobby's here. Hence its name. It's about Bobby's scattered thoughts and dreams, and many people speculate that Bobby has PTSD due to loss of his friend Lars Barr. The Tomb of the Great Oak. The Tomb of the Great Oak is a game made by Sauron, where player spawns in a foggy atmosphere, with trees around them. Sauron is hung on one of the trees. The game's description is, if you complete the U-turn, you may continue to the other side. Supposed Sauron was doing a ritual, and hanging herself from the tree was possibly a part of the ritual. Cackled Monomanian's Place. Cackled Monomanian's Place is a monochrome-like game featuring trees, paths, petroglyphs, and more, yet doesn't reveal the actual story. The only thing we know is that Cackled Monomanian is suffering from Cackled Monomania. Puzzle. Puzzle is another myth game where it talks about Jose Marie inside the game's description. Later, after game was updated, you could find big chunk of story about this game. Through the lone and wide canyons, he wandered with his frontal thoughts. How men were buried prematurely in the company of sordid demons. How men effigies of sovereigns were disfigured by pride. The horror of space and fragmentation forced him to fill the plane with columns with the insignia of his friends who worked with him. Look close at the mirrors, you will see them inside. And if you see wars, they are always warlike scenes against watchful griffins or sleepwalkers. The unexpected being fought over by his besieged brothers and loves the magnitude of danger. His arrows pass through the overlapping hearts of platoon of demons. And if in this fight he declares himself dead, it is that death gives him a bigger picture of life. The unexpected being began to unfold its tracks, in which the history of past and future was written. The narrow door opened reverently for him to pass. The inner courtyard spread like a lake, and the eternal columns that supported the arched roofs replaced his arms and legs. He was still included in eternity. In the rectangular blocks of their orbits, countless generations were closed. He was so old that he lived within death. He was so young that he had inscribed the names of several women on his stone chest. Within the aqueducts that irrigated the hanging gardens on their fronts, men experienced people had sailed. They found his flesh as rough as his loneliness. They unearthed thousands of portraits of his continuous life with all the deceased who crossed his orbit. He checked himself and wept before the documents of his consecration. There's a theory that the puzzle was made for the creator of a game. It has been proven the fact that this is the most puzzling myth to ever exist on Roblox. Little do we know is that puzzle is about someone named Nemoy. Maid Slang. Maid Slang is a horror game made by Mr. Ambrose. The player spawns in a building with almost empty monochromatic rooms. The actual story of the game is that Mr. Ambrose never had the time to do cleaning. The house remained dirty. He hired a maid to clean his property. 5 years after hiring her, the maid committed suicide mysteriously. However, after this, Ambrose felt that something strange when the house was mysteriously being cleaned, despite him not doing it. He hears tapping on the walls, but chooses to ignore them. He knows something has changed ever since she was gone, but he does not know why. He has begun to see things that he shouldn't be seeing. He has become delusional. Rejection. Rejection is one of the parts to piece together what happened at the Mental Assistance Department, or shortened MAD. It consists of gray landscape, which is blur and has specks of color floating occasionally around it. There are stone pillars, which player must climb to progress. Rejection shows what it feels to the mind walker, with Bart Montgomery having his happy memories stolen from him, the mind becoming gray and dreary. After his death, his spirit would remain, longing to remember his most important memory, the birth of his son. The player, having consumed the sample of Bart's Cure #49, the Stoneman Potion, to end up within this space, will be able to return this memory to him. After collecting 6 paintings scattered around the map by clicking on them and climbing up stone pillars, they will retrieve the one memory Bart holds so dear.